Welcome back to the Ride and Laugh podcast. If you love mountain biking, you are in the right place. Today's episode is a short and sweet, quick rip. Dan and Sage are not doing the regular episode because they're all hopefully riding their bikes or doing something fun, but we got you covered with a Ride and Laugh episode every week. We value our listeners. We're keeping the vibe high. Sage, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Danny. I can't wait for this one. Let's do it.
All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite subject, climbing. Bum, bum, bum.
Great.
But our climbing listeners I know we have people that are listening that are climbing and they love it. And this episode's for you. But unless you have an e-bike, and even if you do have an e-bike, there are climbing techniques that are really, really important to have the most fun out of climbing. You and I both really enjoy being fit and we enjoy climbs because we put the work in. I don't like a long gravel climb. I don't like a road climb. I don't want a boring climb. I like a nice, technical, interesting climb that's got some challenging points in it. And then you get that great downhill afterwards. So it's always worth it. But you feel so good when you clear a good climb. There's different techniques that we use. Sage, what is your technique for climbing technical trails and smoother trails? Does it change?
Well, first of all, thank you for clarifying the climb, because when you were like, we both love climbs, I was like, I don't actually like all climbs. They have to be, you're right. For me, it has to be technical. If it's just a standard smooth climb or gravelly road climb, I don't enjoy that. I mean, I'll enjoy it from a fitness aspect, but that's not mentally challenging for me. And therefore it's not.
Would you as an aside, would you take a more challenging climb, even if it's more fatiguing, versus a easier but boring climb?
Yes. I answered it before you were done the sentence. Yes, I will take a technical challenge climb any day of the week. I really enjoy it. Even if that means I have to hike a bike it, I absolutely relish the challenge of doing it. Especially, the best is when someone comes up and they're just like, no one's ever gotten this, or I can't get this, this is, I'd love to see you do this. When I hear those words, I'm like, oh, let me at it. It's like, oh boy.
If you're climbing a gravel road and someone says, we can stay on the road and it's pretty easy, or there's a trail there.
Oh, trail.
Put me on the trail.
Put
me on the trail.
Yeah.
There are exceptions, right? There are exceptions when you're riding all day and you need to have fresh legs for downhill, and you know that the downhill is going to be really challenging, and you don't want to burn yourself out, or you're on a week-long trip and it's just like, okay, I got to think about my legs. But if it's just like a one-off, it's just a day in the woods, and I have the option to work harder and go on a trail climb that might have some challenge versus like an easy road up or a gravel road up I'm bored, the climb actually goes faster for me when there's challenge.
Yeah, I agree. Now, to answer your question, yes, my technique for technical climbing, I'm a stander. I am an absolute stander. I think it comes back from my single speeding days. That never left me.
A stander upper.
I'm a stander upper through all climbs. And even when I'm seated, I still push a hard gear. So basically, when you stand a climb, you get into a higher gear, whereas most people climb in like a granny or two. When I say the granny, I mean the biggest pie plate in the back. It's like you can't go any farther on the derailleur. You're just spinning at a high cadence. I like to spin a very low cadence, and sometimes that means 3 or 4. I'm standing and I'm attacking the climb, doing it that way, which is, I don't know. I might be a dinosaur here. I don't know.
Well, you definitely have like some T-Rex legs. You definitely have some powerful dinosaur legs.
T-Rex arms.
I'm going to give you, little tiny arms, but you do have very strong bipedal legs. Can I have the dinosaur legs with some sort of
longer arms,
primate arms at least? Yeah. We need AI. We need an AI picture of your face with dinosaur legs and arms. And our monkey arms. Yeah, some sort of ape arm. Our listeners are all like, actually, we don't need that. That's actually a really weird image. I didn't see it. Yeah.
I love that we picked an extinct animal and a living animal. Like it's a dinosaur legs with orangutan arms.
Well, as soon as I said dinosaur legs, and then you're like, well, now I got little tiny arms. And you're right. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't mean to give you little tiny arms. You're my buddy. I'm sorry. You want regular arms, dinosaur legs for sure.
Oh boy.
So you have famously told us, and I'm always shocked at this, that you don't ever use the Eagle gear. You don't ever use modern mountain bikes. Have 12 gears, the big giant gear in the back. If you buy a new bike, it has generally 52 teeth. It is humongous. You can really spin a fast cadence. Everyone uses it that I know. You don't use it. You like your gear got like pristine teeth. There's no chain marks.
Yes.
You could sell on eBay, brand new, never been used. That blows my mind. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, there are times when I will use the Eagle, but it's very seldom. I mean, we're talking like 5%, 2%. It's very, very low. I can probably count on my hands on the trails that I know that I'll use the Eagle. And it's usually when I'm doing a shuttle or something where I don't really care about if there's no like power move necessary. But yeah, if it's a technical climb, I don't care how steep it is. I'm usually in 2, and most of the time when it gets technical, I'll pop into 3 or 4 and stand. And yeah, you famously thought that I was going to at some point break on South Mountain. And I didn't. I stood true to it, and that is what I love. And I knew I would, because that is how I love to climb. And I didn't get exhausted. You guys didn't out climb me. I wasn't like lagging back. But I think by the end of the trip, when my fitness was finally caught up.
History. Oh yeah.
By the end of the first 2, when I first arrived in Arizona, my fitness level just wasn't up to par with you guys, And
you're an amazing climber. For anyone listening that hasn't ridden with Sage before, which I assume is most of our listeners, but yeah, you're an incredibly strong climber. And everyone I know, and certainly for myself, a lot of times we're on these really long climbs, whether it's technical or not, you're breathing hard, and at some point you're reaching for another gear. You're in the easiest gear and you reach for and you're like, oh, this is the easiest gear.
Yeah.
And for you to have the level of fitness that you're not breathing so hard that you're looking for the easiest gear, and your legs aren't burning so much that you're looking for the easier gear.
Yeah.
That you lock in on these harder gears. It really says something about you physically, I think.
I don't know. I think that I don't see. I look at it the opposite way. I look at like when I see you and Jeff and Joe, and like, I don't have that kind of lung capacity. Like you guys can go and you sustain a higher heart rate for a lot longer than I can. And you can get more air into your lungs. Like I don't have that, And so for me, I rely less on my cardiovascular strength, and I rely more on my leg muscles. And it's a different style of climbing. And I think like anything, if you train that, then you're going to get good at that. I don't necessarily think that it means you're stronger or weaker. Just that's what you're training. That's what you're used to.
Well, you got strong legs then.
I guess I do. And that style suited me very well going into YouTube, because I wasn't relying on cardio. So that means I could talk. And so oftentimes when other people were like, I'm still talking on the climb because I'm not challenging my lungs in that way. So yeah, that's an interesting point.
I've always been amazed at how you can talk during the climbs, because I wear an action camera. Now that we do the podcast, I wear an action camera as well.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not talking into it nearly as much, because on the podcast we're talking and we're just using the visual of the action camera. But I've certainly helped you film trail stage videos, and it's usually heavy breathing. It's like I'm breathing and I'm in the pain cave. Like there's on the climbs, like I am certainly not talking. So and I feel my legs burning. My legs are burning out. I'm not at a spot where I can be pushing that. I want to be pushing that big gear all the time. And one of the things that I've always heard about cycling is the higher your cadence, the more you're pushing the fatigue to your heart and your lungs.
Right.
The slower the cadence, the more you're pushing the fatigue to your legs.
Exactly.
And I want to keep those legs as fresh as I can. So, very rarely am I saying my heart rate is so high that I need to stop.
Right.
Or I can't breathe. That does happen. It certainly happens. I certainly have run out of air, and I think listeners, let us know. I think everyone can relate to that. Where you're just out of breath.
Yeah.
When you're getting do you get out of breath?
If I'm doing a hit ride, like on my training days, like not mountain biking,
can you get yourself to get out of breath?
Oh my gosh, when I do those hit rides, yeah, I mean it hurts. It some points where you almost want to throw up, like you're going that hard, where you're just like, oh boy, On a mountain bike ride, no, I don't think I've ever. You know what? There was that one day when we were trying to film that shot.
Happens every ride to me.
No, because we were like, oh, let's get this shot where I'm going to sprint across, and you were riding on the road, and I was riding on the trail, and I went as hard as I could. I had to do that 4 times, and it's just a really rocky section of the trail. Oh, that that definitely got me out of breath, and that hurt my legs. Going from almost a full stop to a full sprint 4 times. Oh my gosh, that did me. Yeah.
I feel like I'm so amazed at the way that you climb that this has been more of a podcast about how amazing you are at climbing than what we meant to do of different climbing techniques. We were really talking about doing sitting versus standing. You stand almost all the time. And then I'm just like, how? And oh man, your legs must be so strong and sexy. I mean, you're just incredible. Ladies, are you listening to this? He doesn't even breathe hard on a mountain bike ride.
As long as you can deal with the short arms. So. Very short.
Yeah. Don't draw any other conclusions, though. Don't think short arms means anything else, okay? Dinosaur legs goes all the way past his torso. The powerful dinosaur part of him goes past his torso. The short arms is completely unrelated. All right. I think AI is going to just be like, you know what? We're not drawing this.
We're out. We're out.
This is against corporate policy. Whatever you guys are into, we're not doing it.
Oh my goodness. Oh, well, I listen, let's bring it back, because you know what though? I'm always amazed at how you're able to get through all the same stuff that I'm going through. You're able to do
a little bit.
You are doing all the same stuff, and you're seated. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you stay seated through all this tech, and it's really technical. And by the way, when you're seated, you do get out of your saddle every so often. I see that, it's a quick, but it's not like sustained out of the saddle. In fact, you don't even drop your dropper. The saddle stays up. You get up out of the seat for 1 or 2 seconds to move the bike or move your body position. You're right back down, and you're pedaling cadence. I mean, you're in the 90s, the hundreds. You're pedaling so. I don't know how you do it, dude. I really don't.
I've trained that way. It's funny because we both started off mountain biking. We have the single speed background.
Yeah.
And single speed is a big gear, and you're standing, and you're using weight and momentum. Yeah, it's one gear. It's a big gear. It's a hard gear. And you're standing on every climb and really even on a lot of the flats and tech, you're just standing.
Yeah.
And so you really master that. And that's what you have. And that's something that I would like to get back to a little bit more. But I think there's a really, really good balance of being able to sit and spin and then be able to stand and hammer. And the sit and spin, it really does take the fatigue off of my legs. And you get into a momentum, and you get into a rhythm. And when it gets really, really steep, I want to be able to sit and keep my weight on my rear tire and just be able to hammer up that trail, but at a high cadence. The drawback, more pedal strikes, right? More opportunities for pedal strikes. And there are tech moves that you're just going to need a little bit of a bigger gear.
Yeah.
And so I really, really do, while the sitting and the spinning has its place, to be able to stand up, the nice thing about standing to me that I've just started to kind of re-recognize and start to practice again is getting into a harder gear and then standing and activating my quad muscles, consciously activating my quad muscles.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm not just using my quads. You're using a different large muscle group.
I love that. And since you did a downside for your sitting, the downside to the standing is got to be the traction. Because your weight is in the center of the bike, to get the traction when you're going up something steep,
Yeah.
you're almost doing like this weird squat position in order to get weight onto the back tire. And it's a lot of unnecessary movement. And so even getting your butt over the back tire, sometimes you still just can't get that weight. Whereas when you're sitting, it's a constant force down on that back tire. And I've noticed that there are times when I have to work really hard just to get the same amount of traction. Then you're just blowing right through the stuff, you know? And it's, that is a massive downside to standing and climbing for sure.
Do you have to be going faster when you're standing?
I don't know.
No, because we're typically going around the same speed, which is so
it's
weird.
Incredible. I know
that you're standing in a big gear and I'm pushing like this, I'm spinning in an easier gear and we're climbing at pretty close speeds.
Here's what I will say. I can get more speed quicker when I'm in 3 or 4. There was a couple sections. Sure. So South Mountain is really neat because I mean, it gets really steep, but then there's also like spots where I'm not gonna say it levels out, but like the gradient becomes a little bit more laxed. And man, I see that next little punch up, right? It might be like a little 10 footer or 20 footer, just like super steep, gnarly. I can, because I'm in 3rd or 4th, I can get up more speed and use that momentum. And that is really handy. Whereas when you're in 2 or 1, yes, you can spin faster, but at some point, like after like 100, what is that? Rotations per RPM, whatever that, you know what I'm trying to say. That cadence.
revolutions per minute. Yeah, I think they do use RPM.
Yeah. After 100, like there's only so fast that you can spin. Like you don't have that, grit to go, and that is an advantage that the standing does have.
It doesn't give you the power. It just the spinning. If you just the physics of it, you're spinning super fast. You just don't have the power. You need the harder gear,
right?
And when you have the power on a big move like a step up or a really chunky something where you just need to be able to put down some power strokes.
That's right.
If I want to be able to climb the waterfall at South Mountain, that's a step up followed by big moves. Like I like to do a lot of my tech in 2nd gear. I think that requires 3rd gear. That's one of the reasons that I've been practicing riding more in 3rd and 4th gear is I think that requires less pedal strokes and more power per stroke.
Well,
if that makes any sense.
Yeah. And there is a distinction, right? When we're talking about power versus torque, right? When you're in a lower gear, like the Eagle gear, that's a tremendous amount of torque. Like if you've ever noticed your tires spin out, right? That's because you have a ton of torque, right? Not much power,
right?
But it's being maximized because of the torque aspect. When you go up into the higher gears, right? You're going into the 3, 4, 5, or 6 even. Like I'll go 5 or 6 when I'm standing cranking.
Yeah,
that's more power.
Yeah.
That's more power coming from the front of from the front chain ring. That force. And so that's a really important distinction. Knowing the difference there and when to apply those in situations makes a huge difference, Danny. When you're on a steep climb and you're seated, you want more torque, right? Because your weight is over the back tire. So more torque makes sense. When you're standing up on the pedals, now you want less gears, you want more power. I love that, Danny. That was a great point.
Yeah, and that power can also backfire on you where you're gonna slip out. If you're in an easy gear and you slip a little bit, you can just keep spinning. You might be able to save it. If you're in a big gear and you slip out, that's it.
Over.
You're probably walking at that point. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So there's a lot of nuance to this. Listeners, let us know questions you have about sitting and standing, about climbing, about techniques, anything that you're struggling on, when you should be doing either of those things, or if you agree with us or disagree with us, then what are things that we can work on as we practice and keep getting better at the sport that we love, which is mountain biking. If you're just tuned in right now, this is mountain biking.
Not dinosaur.
You might have tuned in. Tuned in for a dinosaur hybrid conversation, and they're talking about biking all of a sudden. What's going on? Those look like human arms to me. I don't know. I was told there would be dinosaur arms on this podcast. Anything else about climbing that we should touch on stage for this quick rep? I
mean, there's so much. I mean, we could do an hour on climbing. I mean, I love climbing. We didn't even get into the different types of climbing.
Oh yeah. Sure.
We mainly focused on tech climbing because that's what you and I enjoy doing. And we didn't get into e-bikes, which that's a whole nother you're climbing on e-bikes is a completely different technique. When we did those demos, I took me a while to get used to that. Talk about how power gets delivered. It's a different kind of fitness. So yeah, I thought this was a really fun episode, but we really only focused on tech climbing, which is something that you and I really enjoy doing. So it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, there's a place for sitting, there's a place for standing,
right?
And a lot of it is going to depend on your fitness, your terrain, the type of trails that you ride, how strong your legs are, how strong your lungs are, what feels best to you. But there's a combination of both of those skills in there that's going to serve you when you're climbing. And climbing can be really fun because if you're mountain biking, chances are you like a challenge. You like overcoming something, and climbing provides that in spades.
Yeah. Good stuff, Manny. Good stuff. Love it.
All right.
Yeah.
If you're still listening, you're definitely one of us. You love dinosaurs and you love mountain biking, or you love mountain biking. Maybe you don't like dinosaurs. I don't know. We appreciate you. Please rate and subscribe on your podcast player. Please set us to auto download. Please give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about the pod. Leave us a comment because it helps the algorithm. Tell your friends. If you are new to Ride and Laugh and you're just listening to the quick rip, check out our full episodes. I guarantee you they are going to be fantastic. You love them. We got a huge backlog of topics for you. I'm envious of you. Frankly, if you're just getting into the podcast now, I'm envious.
Perfect time. You. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Everyone, thanks for listening. Have a great week and a great week of riding. Ride and Laugh.
I'll see you, everyone.